well, I don't know if you're telling the truth or this is just lip service. But, yeah, I don't know. It was some lady. And she was like, my queen, my queen, my queen. And, of course, I talked to her as soon as I had time. And she said, well, I'd really want to understand. So I just told her, well, I'll put something on a video because, like, that's a lot to say. And I'll put something basic on a video and see if you really would want to ever really understand. And she said, okay, I'll check the videos when I have time. And I don't think anyone would really, really, truly want to understand the work of God. Not down here. I'm a God. I created everything. I've never said anything any which way about people shitting or pissing all these years. Sin makes their shit and piss sickening to a God. Just sin. And sin is not crime. Sin is like something stupid. Like just being rude for 5 minutes. Like just being irritatingly rude for 5 minutes. It's sin. Why? It didn't cause psychological damage. It didn't cause any damage. But it's sin. It's not allowed to exist. It makes your shit stink and your piss offensive. And makes God sick. And I have allowed all of them to live all of these years, and now I don't want to. And I'm having monumental meetings with demons, devils, and evil God enemies that want to rupture their buttholes and intestines and disgusting, gross fucking body parts forever. And every part of me wants to let them do it because they all make me sick. And see, no one's going to give a shit about my rights. Like no one gives a shit about anyone's rights. Like no one gives a fuck about anyone. And this is why I always tell you guys, live on my queen, my queen, my queen, and always put yourselves first. A company would bleed you to death and never, ever care. There are very few owners that would ever give a shit how much you bleed out for their company. And this is the reality. I know that no one has to give a shit, so they're not going to. They're going to sit and do whatever they want, which is abuse the holy fuck out of me. Whether or not they can ever even prove I have or have not peed anywhere, which they really can't. So, the United States made sure I had no money, no possibilities, no options. So there was no way to have enough money to sit in a corner and let people sit next to me for days and days to get enough power of God to help them get their miracles. So thanks to the United States and Dubai, there was nowhere I could just sit so people could sit next to me for days to get the miracles out of my powers they need. Because when what they have is serious, you need more than just 5 minutes or an hour or 2 hours of the power of God. So the only option I would have is power of the pea. Or spitting, or something that holds my powers, like a really fun perfume bottle, and sits my powers in an area for days, because I can't sit anywhere for days. I have to sit and make money all the time, and just get whatever sleep I can wherever I can. So I'm desperately, maybe or maybe not doing anything, but being honest about it. What do I expect humanity to do? Well, people go pee or don't go pee, but like we never want to know about it. All right. Proper, legal. I can respect that one. Whether or not people pee or don't pee, I mean, everybody's got to go to the bathroom. You know, but like just make sure we never know about it. Once again, nobody can ever prove whether I ever went pee or not. Next. But that's not what you get. You get every abusive, sickening thing. Now, let me teach you something. A bad person wants to wake up and beat their kids to death for no reason, or if they're grouchy or for anything. A God becomes just like that over things like this. Something like this, where I cannot have a personal or private life without everyone abusing the holy shit out of my death and more, makes me want to beat them to death until they can't go to the bathroom unless it's a fucking goddamn dead, overloaded, sickening, horrifying nightmare. And it takes all of my restraint as a dead God to say, I've never said they couldn't take a piss when they're that fucking sinner and gross and crime and disgust. But they do anything against me, and now I just want them to die so badly. And by law, that's all that really exists. I'm God. They're nothing. It takes all your patience to say, you know what, I'm going to sit and go to court with gods. But what is decided will be decided. When Adam and Eve brought murder onto a planet, that was not giving birth sickeningly. When Adam and Eve created bad, so when Adam and Eve ate the fruit, they were creating bad in general. That made a labor and a birth and a delivery that was a nightmare. Just bringing bad into an atmosphere in general. By the time Adam and Eve brought murder, you don't want to know what their other births and more were like. And it only got worse from there. When Jesus was murdered, you don't want to know how impossible death became, and no one cared. See, this is the real reality of God. I'm just here to exist and give a shit, and no one will stop abusing my fucking death, and paybacks will happen. Gods are never a fucking joke loser. So what you do is you get up with a bunch of gods and you start going to court. And you decide when you still give a shit, and you decide when you don't. So yeah, devils, demons, and evil god enemies have more access to houses and crimes against everything ever known, because it's not crime anymore. We're allowing it. So devils, demons, and evil god enemies can come in here and run amok at the expense of humanity. And it feels great, because devils, demons, and evil gods are something they can't sit and shit on anymore like a dead god. They finally, at the hands of devils, demons, and evil gods, will get what they fucking deserve, which is what they've done to abuse the unlimited holy shit out of my death. They will not survive. Their death will never, ever be survivable. They will go through every medical emergency ever known, and no one will ever help them. Medication won't mean a goddamn thing to these people. So let them keep fuck you laughing. I'll egg it on every time. After this, I don't suspect that any of you really want to understand the work of God or anything reality or realistic about God.